first professional fight was here,
Really?
you know, so it was 10, 11 years ago.
How did you find being a part of a team compared to an individual sport?
It was fun.
Would you get annoyed with people?
For
though?
sure.
Yeah.
I got to see this out, whether it works out or not, but I have to do this, otherwise I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life.
What was your support network like?
I know that that's why I've been successful, is the way that I was brought up.
Hello everybody and welcome to Between Rounds. I'm Dan Hardy and I'm joined this time around by Logan Storley, one half of the main event in Sioux Falls. Now, just to set the stage, it is fight week. You are on your way to a weight cut. You're on your way to the main event. We're going to talk a bit about the fight, of course, but I've got loads of other questions for you. So first of all, tell me where you're at right now with your weight cut and how you're feeling.
Yeah, I feel good. You know, it's gone really smooth and we're in a really good spot.
Yeah? Anything different? Anything you've changed for this camp? New people, new coaches, nothing like that?
Same coaches, same team. Added a weight cut guy, cut pro, but everything else is the same.
Nice. And this is like, I mean, you've fought here a lot of times. Like you're almost king of Sioux Falls, from what I understand. Like you're the main event guy every time we come to Sioux Falls with a big show. Is that right? Yeah.
No, it's been really, really good to be here. My first professional fight was here.
Really?
You know, so it was 10, 11 years ago.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool to kind of look back at where you started to where you are now.
Is it a familiar city for you as a fight week? Do you feel at home when you come back here?
Yeah, I do. My sister lives here, and I know a lot of friends and family. My hometown's 2 hours away, so that I've been here. I spent a lot of time here.
Yeah.
Not just on fight week, but out of fight week too.
And you would have competed a lot in this area when you were wrestling as well.
Yeah, the three state tournaments were here at the old Premier Center. So I got to win 3 state titles here.
Wow.
Youth tournaments, things like that. You know, so I've competed here a lot.
What was that like? Because I ask this question a lot to wrestlers because it's a difficult thing for me to comprehend coming from the UK. We don't have sports in college and high school like you guys do over here. And I was chatting with Mitch McKee the other week, and my observation was that he went from wrestling in these huge arenas where it's packed out with people that got all the school's merch on and like there's a real energy there. And then he'll go into his first pro fight in like a small arena with. Did you have the same experience? Or did you step into a big fight straight away?
First fight, was here, obviously, but I had 3 amateur fights in high school before the commission, but yeah, it was different. I think that's what, when you go to a national tournament, even as a youth kid, there's a lot of people there.
It must be overwhelming.
Because there's so many, from 6 and under through high school or sometimes at these youth or these national tournaments. So it's, it's a packed arena. NCAA's is 18,000, 19,000 people. So I think that really prepares you for the experience and when you're walking into, in the Big Ten in your conference of some, you walk into Iowa, walk into Penn State or Nebraska and they don't like you and you're getting booed. I think it really gets you ready for what you're going to see, energy, atmosphere-wise.
Were you a competitive kid? Like you said, wrestling was your first love. Were there other sports that you got into, or was it single-minded on wrestling?
No, I did pretty much everything. So I think that really helped with my athleticism being well-rounded.
Yeah.
And playing a lot of different sports, and it didn't burn me out on wrestling.
How did you find being a part of a team compared to an individual sport?
I think, it was fun, but
Would you get annoyed with people?
For
though?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like wrestling, when you put in the work, you're going to get rewarded.
Yeah. Who were your inspirations on the way up? Were there other wrestlers, other athletes, anyone that you looked to for inspiration?
Yeah, Brock was from...
I was going to say, well, the one, Dan Gable came onto my radar probably much later than yours, but the documentary Competitor Supreme was on a repeat for me, and just the way that they attacked training was something very, very unusual for me to see in connection with some kind of combat sport.
Yeah, there's a picture of me and Brock when I was probably 6 years old, 7 years old, and he won his first NCAA title. He's from the same hometown, so it was cool to see that and like, all right, I want to go do that. But then, as MMA got bigger, watching fights, seeing the wrestlers that went on to win Olympic golds, you look at that like, okay, I want to do that.
When did MMA come onto your radar? When was the first time you became aware of it as a sport?
Probably my 7th grade year.
Okay.
That would have been 2006.
Okay. Was there a particular fighter that you saw? Anybody that you remember?
No, I think it was like the Ultimate Fighter show, right? Because it was on TV, and so me and my dad would watch it.
What do you think you've been doing if you weren't competing in MMA?
I was lucky enough to go to the University of Minnesota and get my degree, and there's we have a great alumni base, and so probably something in the business world. I knew I needed to like follow what I wanted, right? It was kind of crazy back then. There wasn't a ton of money, you know, like in 2015, starting AMI or pro fights, like you weren't making a ton, and people are like, why are you doing this, man? And it's like, I have to. I got to see this out, whether it works out or not, but I have to do this, otherwise I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life.
That's interesting. That's an interesting statement. Can we go into that? Why would you have regretted it? Why did you feel like you had to? Because I like the fact that you said it, because I felt the same. But the reason why I felt like that was because it scared the hell out of me. Like, I saw UFC 2 on a videotape when I was at college, and I was 16. And I was already a martial artist. I had been for 10 years. And there was something inside of me that went, ooh, that's terrifying. Can you do that? I don't think you can do that. And that question, that doubt in my mind, as soon as I heard that voice in my head, I'm like, I'm going to have to do this now. Now I've got to do this to prove it to myself. What was your experience?
That if you don't chase those, it's going to haunt you. Like every day you're going to, even if you have the greatest job in the world, right? Making a ton of money, I think I would have been successful at. But I think every day you would have woke up and been, or every time there was a fight on, man.
Yeah.
Would have, like, I think I would have.
Is that because you knew that you could do it, though?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Because I knew that it just would eat away at me, and it would really sting until probably the day you die. Like, why didn't I just do it? Why didn't I just chase that dream?
Yeah. You've mentioned them a few times. You mentioned watching The Ultimate Fighter with your father and stuff. What was your support network like?
Yeah, they both grew up on farms, right? So they're tough.
tough and strong.
Oh yeah. So it was a very strict, very disciplined, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yes.
It made me who I am. The way that they raised me, and I know that that's why I've been successful, is the way that I was brought up, and being from a small town, and it's kind of especially from being raised on a farm. It's like it didn't matter if it was cold, it didn't matter if they were sick, it didn't matter. Like the work had to be done.
There's a lot of appreciation. I can see it. I feel the same thing. I have an incredible family around me as well, and they were very, very supportive. What were you like as a kid? What did you do when you weren't competing? What would you do to let off steam?
Being on a farm, rode dirt bike, and I was outdoors a lot, hunting, and so I didn't like it kind of when you're growing up because everyone else lived in town, and I was like, it would be nice to be close to your friends, but now looking back, it's like the greatest thing ever to be out in the country and have space and land.
When you occupy a vast amount of space, I feel like you're a different person internally as well.
Yeah, and I think there was, you knew everyone in a small town, right? People knew you, and
so you got to act right.
You got to act right, and like if you don't, people are going to find out. And people really cared, though.
Yeah.
They really cared for you, and they supported my wrestling career in college, and now fight. It's the same people that have watched me from when I was 13, to now. It's 33, so 20 years of following my career. So I think that's what you get here, and that is different.
So does that change the pressure of the fight then? Are you going to be walking out to the cage, seeing a lot of familiar faces in the crowd?
Yeah, I think when I first fought here a couple times, there was a lot of pressure.
Right.
Like, I gotta do, like these people expect this. I gotta do this. I gotta do this. Like, what if I don't? What if I don't? And then just kind of sitting with Hoagie and Robbie, and it's like, they're here because you're a good friend to them. And I was like, that's pretty cool.
That is awesome.
I was like, that's
awesome.
different. And they're like, they're just here to support.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
It's just, it's 100% effort, right? And so I kind of took that approach, the last 2 years of just, yeah, they're your friends, family, or support, everyone's here to support you. And I was like, so 100% effort, and I'm going to put on a show, and win, loss, draw, they know that I gave it everything I had. And so I think that has freed me up in the way I competed last year.
Yes.
Maybe the year before.
Gotcha.
I think I was so focused on, do you want this and titles and money, and I got to get here and do this. And last year was super grateful of just like, all right, we're still doing this, and getting to the world title fight. And this year, it's like, okay, let's get back and enjoy whatever's left of the career. Of really enjoying fight week, really enjoying training camp, really, because when it's done, it's done. And I'm sure you miss
every day.
In the moment, it's like it's a lot. Fight week is a lot.
Yeah.
Before the fight, it's a lot. And the weight cut's a lot. But when it's over, it's like, I know wrestling. I miss those days when I see the team. It's like, oh, those days were hard. They were hard days, but I miss them.
Yeah.
And so I think it's the same with fighting. Is when my time's done fighting, and I go to the next chapter of my life, I'm gonna miss the people. I'm gonna miss fight week and walking to that feeling that I don't think I'm ever gonna find again. Right, walking to the cage. So it's really enjoying the process.
What's really nice to see is that you've arrived at this point before your careers come to an end. You've got great people around you. Obviously, one of the people you mentioned was Robbie Lawler. What's it like to have veterans of the game around you like that? And what's it like to be able to call them friends aside from being coaches and training partners? Because the relationships seem to mean a great deal to you, which I very much appreciate. And I'm interested to know how you value those people around you right now that are helping you in your career. Yeah, some relationships are, just fight relationships, and some turn into lifelong friends. And so for me, it's really, Rob took interest when he was still fighting, and he didn't have to do that. He had to worry about his career. And so that was 8-9 years ago, and Rob cornered me almost everything. He cornered me my first Bellator fight, and has maybe missed 1 or 2 when he was in camp. Right. And that was it, and it's like, he wasn't getting any, he was already Robbie Lawler. He didn't need anything from me. And so, but yeah, it's just really appreciate it, and I know that when I'm done, we'll still be, he's one of my best friends. Yeah. So it's cool. Yeah. Yeah, amazing. And you talked about all the people that are going to be in the arena on Saturday night, and they're there to support you, and they're there to give you good energy, and you're there to perform for them. How do you manage traveling away and remembering that those people are all there watching?
Obviously, when you're doing the walk, right? It doesn't matter where you're at. Yeah. Right. It doesn't matter. You have 15 minutes to go put it together, and be super violent and push a pace. And as soon as, the bell, rings, I think it kind of goes away. Yeah. Okay, it's where it doesn't matter. So I really think it's about handling those emotions during that walk, during, getting the Vaseline, walking in, and then it's like, okay, we're in a good spot and we're ready.
Do you have any kind of any rituals or habits or anything that crossed over from wrestling that you still do now? Any, like, a particular jock strap, or you know what I mean? People have things that they like,
I was a
like
little more...
the strap is a common one for wrestlers, it seems, because you kind of can't cling on to many things, right?
Yeah.
I always had a glove I'd put on first. Skull and crossbones on the wraps. One glove went on first. You know, some people even put their one leg in the shorts in the same every time. I wondered if you had any kind of, wouldn't necessarily call them superstitions, but things that make you feel comfortable during fight week that you do.
The people I have around.
Right.
Right. I have one of my best friends, you know, he comes during fight week, and he started that, you know, and that's been really important to me. And Robbie and Hoagie, and just kind of the way I go about things definitely makes fight week like more comfortable. Because when I first started, it was like, fight week can be overwhelming, you know, especially when you first get to the show, and it's a little uncomfortable, but I kind of just, you know, put the right people in my corner, and the way I go about things has really made fight week a lot better. But as far as the way, no, not really.
Did you have a lot of expectations coming out of your wrestling career to cross over into MMA and do well? Did you feel those expectations?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did. I knew that I could compete with the best in the world. And I never got to win gold at the NCAA tournament. You know, I got close. You know, I was a 4-time All-American, and it was an amazing career, you know, and I think 1 of 10 at Minnesota in the history, right? And so I was super proud of that, but it hurt not winning, you know, and so when I came over to fighting, it was either I'm going to get to that spot or I'm not doing it.
Right.
And so getting to win that belt in London there's a picture of like me and my mom, and it was cool.
Yeah. And something that you keep with you forever is a memory like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is left to do for you then? Before you hang them up, what is left to do? You've already won a world title.
PFL.
Okay.
The
Another belt.
Yep. That's what I'm interested in, you know, and that starts Saturday night, and then we'll see what they do at 170, right, with Masayev, and I've fought them both, and I've learned a lot from both those fights, but that's what I want, you know. So I don't have a ton of fights left in me, right, and this will be my 23rd professional fight. I'll be 34 in September, and I'm like excited to ready to go out my way. Yeah. Right, and it's at the top, and so I know I'm right there, and I'm excited for that, because I always said 35 when I first started. Like, me and my mom kind of had a plan, and she's just like, I said 35 because I gotta ready to start a family and do those things, and I'm pretty selfish, you know, when you're trying to be the best, you have to be, and so I've got I know what I want to accomplish, and so there's been a lot of work put in over the last eight months to finish it the way that I want to finish it.
Okay. I think you'll be in demand as a coach, so you'll be back and forth to Florida a lot. Yeah. Right, let's get one of these questions. So in this bowl, we have questions from previous guests, some PFL staff. Just pick one of them out, read the question, and then answer it in your own time. We always get interesting questions, and they're always a bit left field.
If you can fight any fictional character from any movie, show, or cartoon, who would it be?
Ooh, I like that. So any fictional character from any movie or show. Whose question was that? Biagio. Good question, Biagio.
I think...
the Hulk, for sure. You'd out-wrestle the Hulk.
He's a little too big. Batman.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Okay. Any particular version of Batman? Was there a more dangerous... Christian Bale was a psychopath Batman, right? Val Kilmer Batman, it's probably a safer fight, I would imagine. What do you reckon?
I think that, that would be the most doable fight compared to some of those other characters. So.
Fair enough. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching this. Logan Storley, follow the rest of his career. There's going to be incredible fights in his future, as well as the one this weekend. Wears his heart on his sleeve, appreciates his family and his friends and all the people around him, and I think we can all remember that It's healthy for us all to keep in mind, I think. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you after the next Between Rounds.